Hello everyone and welcome to the live stream. I hope that you're all doing good tonight. We're going to be hanging out for a couple of hours, hour and a half, 2 hours like we usually do when I stream Vara After Dark. We're going to be discussing a few interesting topics. Some are new, some I haven't gotten a chance to talk about over the past week or so, and they're topics that I think are really interesting. Most of them are actually new. We're going to be talking about some rumors, Black Widow, apparently how Warner Brothers doesn't give a singular fuck about the DCEU. So we're going to be talking about Film Threat founder Chris Gore eviscerating Star Wars, Justice League, and modern Hollywood, claiming 99% of blockbuster films are garbage. I always think that it's hilarious when we see people in the industry come out and basically say the industry's BS now. I always just think that it's funny because usually it's true. Usually statements being made by people in, let's say, the entertainment industry, when they're speaking out against it, most of what they're saying is rooted in truth. So we're going to be talking about that. Margot Robbie has actually announced that she is taking a break from playing Harley Quinn. She was in the Suicide Squad movie in 2017. She was in Birds of Prey, and she's also in the new Suicide Squad movie, the James Gunn one. But she's announced that after that comes out, she's going to be taking a break from playing Harley Quinn. And she's decided to hint that Warner Brothers, at least in her opinion, from what she knows, doesn't really have a roadmap for DC comic films. And that's, on one hand, it's surprising, but on the other hand, it's really not, because I feel like Warner Brothers, while they've had a general idea with the direction they've wanted to go in, they've never had like a Marvel level roadmap. They have had a roadmap, but it hasn't ever been, as far as I know, on the scale that Marvel ever really had, because Marvel, usually they've got a game plan, they know what they want to do, they're planning years and years and years out. But there's a little bit of news on the DCEU front. This actually was a document that was released over the weekend that I didn't know about, that people are really starting to pick up on now. This is definitely something that could be fake. It is something that might not be true at all. It could be someone just looking at rumors that have been put on the internet over the past couple of years, and they've decided to kind of put them together, and they've decided, oh hey, I'm just gonna kind of stir up some drama, cause some drama. But there is quite a lengthy document that was put online that says insider leak on the current happenings inside of Blizzard. Will be interesting to see if this turns out to be true. We've heard over the years that Blizzard doesn't really care about consumers. Blizzard hates people that stream their games most of the time, like the larger streamers like Asmongold. There's been a lot of employees from companies like Blizzard that have come out and shit on streamers. We know that a lot of AAA developers don't really have a good viewpoint on consumers and just gamers in general, and most of this document backs a lot of that up. But it also talks about how basically, like, Shadowlands is a shit show. World of Warcraft is kind of in decline right now. There's just a lot that's negative going on behind the scenes with Blizzard, so that will definitely be interesting to talk about. And I also wanted to talk about Black Widow. Now, over the weekend, during my gameplay streams, I played some Apex and talked about some, different topics. I did talk about Black Widow a little bit, but I haven't really talked about the Black Widow numbers yet. It launched over the weekend. I really wanted to see, like, what the numbers were going to be after the weekend. And while they have made money with the movie, which ultimately is good for Marvel, Black Widow is underperforming at the box office with a 41% drop from Friday to Saturday, which is a awful drop-off. This is one of the worst drop-offs that Marvel has ever seen for one of their films. That is a massive drop-off, and as this article will say, Captain Marvel only suffered a 14% drop. Obviously, movies are gonna drop. It's just the way that it goes. Movies and their revenue and the viewership of them are gonna drop because most people go to the theaters once and see a movie, and then they won't see it, and launch weekends are usually giant for films, and this film did have a big launch weekend. It's not like it only made a couple $1 million. I mean, it made like $80 million in the box office. Thank you for the $26 donation. Much appreciated. Thank you. But they're also, you know, when it comes to Marvel, you expect a lot for their films, the longevity of them, and there is just a massive drop-off going on with Black Widow right now. So those are the topics that we're going to be discussing during the stream. We'll get into them in a minute. We'll probably start off with the film threat topic. But hi guys, how are you all doing? Hope that you're all doing decent, doing good. Lots of interesting things to talk about tonight. I'm pretty excited. Is it excited? I don't know. I'm pretty interested to read the Blizzard rumors and also the Black Widow numbers. When it comes to Blizzard, they're a very shitty company now, unfortunately. It's just the way that they are. They're not a very good company anymore. So whenever we hear information coming out about a company like Blizzard, a part of me wants to believe it because we know that the company's a shit show, but at the same time, there's still rumors. Take it all with a grain of salt. It's still things being put on the internet with no confirmation behind them, no verification. But we definitely got some interesting topics to talk about tonight. I wish Warner Brothers would care, but their movies make money, so they don't give a shit. Well, the thing with Warner Brothers is that, I mean, ultimately, yeah, they are a company. If their product makes money, that's what they care about. I've said this quite a bit, and I don't think my opinion is going to change anytime soon. I think that superhero movies, I don't want to say are at their end, but I think that superhero movies are really starting to die down. Because we've seen a lot of the major heroes get their own films. We've seen a lot of these major heroes get their time in the spotlight. And I think maybe in this case, what Warner Brothers wants to do is they want to restart the DCEU again. They want to have new characters be brought in, maybe new actors, because they've lost a lot of their actors. Henry Cavill is a hot commodity right now. He's in a bunch of other things for the next couple of years. The Witcher, Sherlock Holmes. I mean, he is in a lot. We also know that it was rumored that he was going to be in a remake of, Braveheart? So there's a lot of things that he is supposedly going to be in. We've also got Gal Gadot. She's in a bunch of things as well. She's signing for a bunch of Netflix projects. And Ben Affleck is, as far as we know, chopped liver. I mean, Ben Affleck doesn't want to come back besides, like, maybe, like, a cameo, like a very short role. So maybe what they want to do is they just want to kind of out with the old and with the new. Maybe that's why Margot Robbie doesn't have any clue. Maybe they do have a game plan, but the game plan just doesn't include her, so they really didn't give her a lot of information. Who knows? There's a lot that could be happening with Warner Brothers and the DCEU, but it's probably not going to be good. Maybe they're just going to give the spotlight to Amber Heard. I mean, they should at this point. They've gone, 200% in with Amber Heard. Why not give her own movie? Make her the star of the show. See how much money you make from a husband abuser. I'm sure that they'll make a lot of money. I'm sure that's really what people want to watch. Maybe they could give her her own documentary, talking about all of her so incredibly hard experiences, making like $15 million off of a divorce, and getting every role she could want in Hollywood just because she said, I'm a woman and I can use my gender to my advantage. Oh, gosh, what a empowering story, guys. Oh my gosh, what an inspiration. I mean, Amber Heard fucking sucks. Amber Heard, well, that's probably how she got all of these roles in Hollywood, but that's not here nor there. Amber Heard, not for me. Not for me. Go ahead, though. Go 200% in with her. If you guys like her, go for it. I will laugh when no one shows up to watch movies that she's in because she's a really bad actress. So, hi, guys. I really liked Batfleck. I agree. I really like Ben Affleck, and I thought that he just did so good for Bruce Wayne. I don't know. I didn't think at first that I was gonna like him. Like, I genuinely didn't think that Ben Affleck was, like, gonna be it. I didn't get that from him at first, but I actually feel like he does a relatively good job. And I'm gonna be honest, he's, like, my second favorite Batman. I mean, no one can fight Val Kilmer, but he did a good job. I don't know, guys. I'm gonna be honest. And this, oh my gosh, this is gonna be a hot take because there's so many people who liked Gotham and who didn't. The actor that played Batman in Gotham, he's actually probably my favorite. I know! Don't come for me! He's actually probably my favorite, my second favorite actor who's portrayed Batman / Bruce Wayne. And I would probably have to say Ben Affleck was the third for me. Those are my top three. Because he actually did such a good job. Christopher, don't you fucking laugh at me liking Val Kilmer, okay? Don't you dare laugh. Anyone who laughs gets the banhammer, okay? Now, be nice. The DCEU and the MCU sucks. The thing is that I feel like each of them do have genuinely good movies within them. Like the MCU, Phase 1, Phase 2 was fire. It was so good. Most of those movies were great. And even DC, I feel like DC has had better movies, okay? I don't feel like all of them have been complete dog water, but I feel like with DC, guys, I've always admitted it. I am more of a DC fangirl than I have been a Marvel fangirl. DC, me and Batsy, we go way back, okay? We go way back. But I feel like if I had to judge the films and the way they are right now, I'd probably have to say Marvel has done an overall better job because I'd say like 60%. I don't even know if I want to be that generous. I'd say like 25% of the DC movies are good, and I'd say like 45% of the Marvel movies are good. That's a very big difference there. That's very different. Guys, I swear to the good fucking Lord, I will ban your asses, okay? Val Kilmer as Batman was good, okay? Guys, don't tempt me, okay? Yeah, he was a young Bruce Wayne, but he did, like, in the final, like, season and a half, he did have that Batman going to him. I just thought that he did a really, really good job. Like, in 15 years, you feel free to apply to, you know, the 20th iteration of live-action Batman. I will watch it. I just feel like Gotham was just so good all around. I feel like all of the actors for Gotham were just such hits. I mean, oh my gosh. I just feel like Gordon, Alfred, Fox, I just feel like they all were so good. And Penguin and Riddler, Gotham is genuinely, like, such an amazing show. And I feel like they did, guys, banned. That's it, banned. That's it, banned. I feel like, anyway, Gotham, Batman, and that actor, David, I thought that he actually did a really good job as young Bruce Wayne / Batman. It's too bad that he really hasn't been in anything else, though. He was in, like, one action movie. I saw a couple weeks ago. He's been in, like, one action movie or something, and it was, like, and a movie that bombed. And he's, like, in one other upcoming project. Anyway, it doesn't seem like he's gonna be an actor that's... I'm not trying to be mean, but he's ever gonna get out of that Batman shell, and I don't really think that he's gonna be in anything else that's gonna be as great as Gotham, but Gotham was great. Gotham was good. If anyone in chat says George Clooney, legitimate ban, okay? Legitimate. If anyone even thinks it, you are getting Thanos snapped, okay? Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Okay, that's over the line. You can criticize my opinion. But don't disrespect Batman like that. But alright guys, we'll get started in just a minute. I think I'm gonna start off, yeah, with this topic. Yeah, I think we're gonna start off with this topic. Because I feel like I kind of want to end with Black Widow. Because I feel like she's the woman of the hour. Everyone's really excited. Oh, brother. Oh, no. He was ... Don't you dare. Don't you dare think it. I know what you guys are thinking. No, no, no. We're not doing that tonight. You say George Clooney was good. I don't like George Clooney, like, in anything. That, I guess maybe I have a bias. But George Clooney and me, we're not buds. I don't know. I feel like he's been in one good thing. Or two good things. I feel like he's like a Robert Pattinson. He's just very overrated. Robert Pattinson's been good in like two things. And it's funny because he's the next Batman. But I feel like all of these guys are just not for me. Anyway, guys, why don't we get started on the first topic of the evening? So, this will be a relatively quick topic, just because there's not a lot to talk about here. There's a little bit, though. I mean, it talks about Hollywood and the current state of Hollywood. But I always think that it's hilarious to see people in the entertainment industry speak out against Hollywood and basically say the current state of Hollywood is absolutely trash. I think that it's hilarious because usually these people come out and, yeah, a lot of them are salty because they either got kicked out of the industry or they lost big roles in the industry, whatever the case may be. Usually what they're saying is somewhat rooted in truth. And Film Threat founder had decided to do an interview and say Star Wars, Justice League, and modern Hollywood are 99% of blockbuster films are garbage, which I wouldn't say it's as high as 99%, but I think that most of modern Hollywood and what comes out of modern Hollywood is garbage. Everyone in the industry is, oh, look at me, I'm the best in the industry, I'm just so good at my job, everybody loves me, I could never get kicked out of this industry. They're very cocky, they're very full of themselves, and I feel like they all just pat themselves on the back. Oh my gosh, you just came out with this new movie, it was so good. Oh, but no, you just acted in this film, it was so amazing, you did such a good job. I just feel like most of what comes out of Hollywood now is complete garbage. But it says, Film Threat founder and publisher recently did an interview with Film Courage where he explained why 99% of modern movies are garbage. He was asked by Film Courage, would you say that 99% of all movies today are garbage? And he responded with, in an age where most movies are referred to as content, I would say that 99% of most movies are pretty bad. When I say 99%, I mean the mainstream. He went on to cite Zack Snyder's Justice League and Star Wars. One of the best examples of this sort of thing is Zack Snyder's Justice League and how that was kind of ruined. I don't necessarily think that Zack Snyder's Justice League was ruined or bungled or anything like that. I would say that they should have just let him finish the movie in the first place. But he also goes on to talk about Star Wars and the Star Wars franchise. It says to me, I'm the studio executive in charge of Star Wars and we're making a new Star Wars movie, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put Han, Luke, and Leia in a scene together. The fact that was a moment that we will never be able to have, that moment in cinema where Carrie Fisher was alive, that to me is malpractice. That studio's malpractice. I actually agree with this. I feel like when you're reviving a franchise, one of the most important things to do is to put other, original stars. Thank you for the $5 donation. Much appreciated. I think that is such an important thing to do when you're making a movie. You only have one opportunity to make something. It's like Indiana Jones right now. They've probably only got this final film to do it right. When it came to Star Wars, I think that it is so important. It would have been great to be able to see the three back in action in a scene, even if this scene was only 5 minutes long. When you're reviving franchises, I do feel it's important to give those nodbacks to people with nostalgia, to the original content you're working with. And unfortunately, when it comes to something like Star Wars, they squandered the opportunity, and unfortunately, Carrie Fisher is gone now. We will never be able to have that in cinema ever again. I mean, there's no way that they could actually do it now and have it be all the original actors, the original characters. But it says he then turned to the Justice League. The fact that they had with Zack Snyder's vision what he was building up to be, I think seeing the 4-hour final product of what Zack Snyder's Justice League turned out to be and what they made this garbage thing with Joss Whedon, it's disheartening to me to see that. I do think that the Justice League that Joss Whedon made was absolutely garbage. I at first wasn't the biggest hater of it. I felt like it was like a 4 out of 10. But after seeing Zack Snyder's Justice League, I feel like it's definitely like a 3 or a 2. It was really bad when you see the direction they wanted to go in and see the direction Joss Whedon did go in. I've stuck by the fact that Zack Snyder's Justice League was pretty good. It was a pretty freaking good movie, but I still feel like there was more that they could have done, and I felt like it was very slow. It was very drawn out. Did we really need 30 seconds of Jason Momoa standing on a cliff with water, sparkling against his abs like Edward Cullen? Did we really need... I mean, it was like a fucking L'Oreal hair care commercial with the hair flipping in the wind, with the water hitting it. I mean, they could have fucking sold me a hair product with that. Anyway, not getting off topic, I just felt like Zack Snyder's Justice League could have been, I don't know, a half hour shorter, or they could have filled the half hour more with better content. I thought overall it was a pretty good final product, though. It says, though, I will say on an indie level, I tend to take a glass half full view, and I tend to always look for the positive when it comes to indie films, because you can't compare an indie movie show in 12 days for $10,000 to Justice League. Whichever version you're talking about, you can't compare. I actually really do agree with this. I feel like indies aren't really given a chance. I actually think that it's funny, because in video games and in the gaming industry, I feel like indies are so highly regarded. I feel like when it comes to being an indie studio in the gaming industry, you're given so many chances. You are looked upon like you're on another level, like you're different from AAA developers, but you're so unique. You're given those chances to shine. And I feel like when it comes to filmmaking, indies actually aren't really given as much opportunity, and people don't actually like give indie films enough of a chance. But it says, if we scroll down, he then zeroed in on Hollywood studios' obsessions with checking boxes. Unfortunately, we live in a time back in the day when Star Wars was first made. I feel like they were checking one box and it was called fun. And now there's not only a million boxes that must be checked, there are all sorts of noting and committees and this and that, where you end up with the last Star Wars movies by J.J. Abrams that's unwatchable. I mean, it's garbage. It informs exactly everything wrong with the studio system. It's terrible. I talk about it all the time. It's just like these check boxes that companies want to tick off because they feel like they can be better. They feel like they can do more. They're afraid to not check off boxes like diversity check boxes. They're afraid of ignoring those and then having to potentially lose out on those customers that want diversity and inclusivity. But at the same time, they're losing people that just want good storytelling. I just want good storytelling in my movies, my entertainment. If a story is good and you've got, every character and every person is a different race, ethnicity, background, whatever, then that doesn't matter because the story is good and the characters are also going to be good. We see it all the time. People are always attacked. Oh my gosh, why are you only focusing on the fact fact that there's a black man in this movie or an Asian woman. We're not focused on that. The thing is that that's all you're throwing in our face and you're not actually giving us good content. But it says he then questioned what was running through the studio's executive minds. So I look at the Justice League debacle, the Star Wars franchise, and how that was mishandled, and I look at that, and I just look at what could have been done. Were they ever looking at the fans and what they think? What do the fans think of this stuff? Are they satisfying the fans? And most normal people don't care. Is it entertaining? Unfortunately, most of the content that's coming out of Hollywood now isn't entertaining. Everyone's worried about, you know, filling a quota, checking off, you know, tick box. Wow, I can't talk. Tick boxes and, like, you know, a checklist. They're worried about just, like, fulfilling what the woke crowd wants. They're not actually giving a singular fuck as to what fans really want. They don't care. You know, they think they're gonna make money with diversity and inclusion and diversity are good. I will always say this. I will forever say this because that is my opinion. Diversity, inclusion, very good things. But when you're forcing them in our faces and you're sacrificing good storytelling just to add those things to a film, that's personally what I don't think is good. I want a good story. I want good characters. I just want a good franchise. I don't want them to revive franchises just to ruin them. But that's all that I really had to discuss with that topic. It is what it is, guys. Hollywood is bullshit. 99% of blockbuster films are garbage. Nothing new. Always funny to talk about, though. It's always hilarious to see people shit on the industry. Because most of what everyone says is true. In a minute, we'll move into the Margot Robbie, DC Warner Brothers situation. Guys, listen, okay? Listen. I'm disappointed in DC, Marvel, Netflix, Hulu. Disappointed in Warner Brothers. I'm disappointed in Hollywood. We need someone. We need a Batman to swoop in and save the day. We need someone with $1 trillion to make a Hollywood alternative. Guys, we need an Ethan Van Sciver for the entertainment industry. Okay? We need someone to start a movement. We need Elon Musk to just loan us a couple $1 million. Maybe more than a couple $1 million. Come on. Jeff Bezos, I see you over there. And we need an alternative. I mean, otherwise, shit like, I'm sorry, shit like Birds of Prey just ain't gonna cut the cake. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Yep, a catastrophe. Oh no, we need Anita Sarkeesian. Oh, that's my cue to leave. See you guys later. Elon only just impregnates crazy. Hey, Blue, come on, don't kink shame. If that's what Elon's into, that's what Elon's into. Okay? If he wants to wonder if he's gonna wake up, you know, and he's gonna get murdered that day, that's his choice. I'm not gonna shame him. But, yeah, true. Yeah, unfortunately, with everything, when there's alternatives, usually the companies behind alternatives, when it comes to gaming or when it comes to tech, usually there's some kind of motive behind those people trying to come in as well. Like, if we look at tech, yeah, there's companies coming in and say, we're gonna make, you know, a free speech alternative. Oh, but anime titties? We can't have that. That is way too inappropriate. Sheesh. I mean, even look at OnlyFans. OnlyFans came into the market wanting to compete with Patreon, and they said, we're going to allow any content on our platform. We're going to allow anyone, and now it's, well, it was a safe haven for adult creators, and now OnlyFans is going, we're not going to allow adult content on our platform anymore. So if you're someone who's creating that type of content, you should look for an alternative. I mean, they drag us in with lies, and then they spit us out. It's just how it goes. Spitters or quitters, never forget. I can't remember the last good movie I saw. That's a good question. What is the last good movie I saw? What was the last movie I saw in general? Well, I guess technically it would be Black Widow. Ugh. I actually really liked Conjuring. Devil Made Me Do It.
Christopher donated $10.
Thank you for the $10 donation, Christopher.
Oh,
oh, Christopher, shut the fuck up. Val Kilmer can't talk anymore, but he was a very good actor. Okay, Christopher. Sheesh. Conjuring Devil Made Me Do It actually was a very good movie in my opinion. I actually really liked it. Then again, I really like Patrick Wilson and the what's the other actress's name? I know her name's Vera. I don't remember her last name. Not biased. I actually really like them. I feel like they've just got some sweet on-screen chemistry, and I feel like Devil Made Me Do It was actually a pretty damn good movie. It was like a 7 or an 8. It was pretty good. Actually, I'd probably give it an 8. The only Conjuring movies, well, the Conjuring universe movies I haven't liked are Annabelle Comes Home, and I was so disappointed by The Nun, you guys. Don't get me started. Oh,
I'm glad that you do too, Vara.
Thank you, Bullet Shepherd. I'm a woman of culture. Thank you for the $5 donation, though. Much appreciated. Yeah, her. You guys got it. I knew her first name. I didn't remember her last name, but she's a very good actress. I really like her. But I feel like they just have, like, this great on-screen chemistry. You hear about the censorship of Doki Doki Literature Club? I made a video on it today. I did. It was today's video. If you haven't seen it, go and check it out. I agree, the new Conjuring movie was really good. I was actually surprised by the twist. And I feel like most movies now, I'm sitting, first 10 minutes, I can pick out every little twist that could happen. Guys, honestly, after watching Dark on Netflix, I feel like I'm just tapped in, okay? I feel like my brain, I gained some skill out of watching that show. I've watched Dark 4 times now. It's the best show I've ever seen. Again, not fucking biased, but that show was another level. I don't know what drugs they were on when they made that show, those crazy motherfucking Germans, but I want whatever they've got, because that show was so good. That show was another level. Never forget. Jeez Louise, too bad that show's over. I really hope those writers, though, come together and create something else, because I would give them all my money. Valak ain't scary anymore. Yeah, Valak. It's too bad because Valak, like, had so much going. Like, the character had so much going for it. And, like, the Conjuring movies leading up to The Nun were really good because, like, you didn't know who this nun character was, and then you found out, and then it's like the movie came out. It was like, I just sat here in a chair for 3 hours watching this garbage? All for that. A whole franchise leading up to this movie, and the movie it was leading up to was awful. Man, that sucked. That sucked. I don't know, I feel like a lot of the Conjuring movies for me have been really enjoyable. But it is what it is. Orphan was great. Babadook was bad. Black Swan was... It was okay. It wasn't bad. It wasn't amazing, though. The Vigil, yeah, the Vigil's good. Dark is amazing. If you haven't watched it, and you actually like me, trust me, or maybe you even hate me, go watch Dark. You will thank me by the end of it. But I have to say, you have to save up brain cells to watch it, because if you look away for 5 seconds, if you are not listening for 2 seconds, you are gonna miss half the plot. Anyway, guys, let's move on to the next topic of the evening. So I talk about DC a lot. I'm a big DC fangirl. I have been for many, many years. I've always loved Batsy, Wonder Woman, Harley Quinn, surprisingly, up until the movies. Rest in peace, Harley Quinn. I've always been a really big fan of DC. But the films in the DCEU have not been good, at least in my opinion. Most of them have been pretty bad. There have been a couple that have been decent. I really liked Ben Affleck as Batman. Henry Cavill is a great actor. Gal Gadot, I thought, did a really good job as well. But when it comes to Suicide Squad, Birds of Prey, Harley Quinn in general, it's just been a flop for me. But Margot Robbie has announced that she's taking a break from Harley Quinn and hints that Warner Brothers has no roadmap for DC Comics films. This is actually kind of disappointing to hear, because I do think that Margot Robbie's a really good actress. I think that she has been in a lot where she has done a phenomenal job. I would have loved to see her as Harleen Quinzel. I thought that she would have done a great job if... Imagine if Margot Robbie, was put in a movie with Joaquin Phoenix as his Joker, and she was actually Dr. Harley. Like, imagine that duo. She can play a lot of very deep psychological roles, and I feel like the version of Harley Quinn they went with is Harley Quinn. I'm not saying that they didn't go with a character that was, like, awful, because she still was Harley Quinn. I just feel like they could have done so much more with the actress that they had at their disposal. But she has announced that she's taking a break from playing Harley Quinn. She doesn't know when or if she will come back. And she has hinted that Warner Brothers has no roadmap for DC Comics films. Is this that surprising? That Warner Brothers would have no roadmap for DC films? No. It's really not. Warner Brothers fucking sucks, okay? If I ever got an offer to work for Warner Brothers, I'd say no. Okay, they're one of the few companies that just genuinely is not it. It says Harley Quinn actor Margot Robbie, who portrayed the character in Suicide Squad, Birds of Prey, and upcoming The Suicide Squad, maybe we could have named the second Suicide Squad something a little bit more original, announced she's taking a break from the character. It says, speaking with Entertainment Weekly, she revealed that she would be taking a break from the character following the release of The Suicide Squad directed by James Gunn. James Gunn, who is now a cuck, because James Gunn was canceled. Everyone got him his place in, the company back. Everyone got so upset he got his job back, and now he's for cancel culture, so fuck James Gunn. She explained it was kind of back-to-back filming Birds and filming this, so I was kind of like, oof, I need a break from Harley because she's exhausting. There's been a rumor for a couple of months now that she's been kind of done with Harley because she never got the success out of playing Harley Quinn that she expected. After seeing the announcement that she's taking a break, I definitely believe it a little bit more, but there's always been this rumor that, like, she just expected with Harley for her career to be catapulted. Like, she just expected more pay, more attention. She expected to basically be like a Henry Cavill with Superman. Like, clearly she's not playing a character of that importance, but it's like she thought that she was going to be playing a more important character. But it says, I don't know when we're going to see her next. I'm just as intrigued as everyone else. The actress also hinted that DC Comics films do not have a roadmap when she reacted to the fact that Harley Quinn was killed off screen, as revealed during the epilogue of Zack Snyder's Justice League. It says, what? She went on to say, I didn't know that. Thank you for telling me. I don't know. You really can't watch just a movie? I mean, really, Margot Robbie? You just couldn't take the time to watch a movie? It says, when pressed for her reaction on this, she responded, I guess it's kind of like the comics. That's clearly the fact that she doesn't know anything about her character. Which comic? Which one? What do you mean? Kind of like the comics. Any elaboration? Fuck no. The film version of the DC universe, I think they're actually a lot like the comics. You pick up one comic and something's happening, and then you pick up the next comic and maybe that character's not alive, maybe that character's not that person, maybe that character looks completely different. Wow, guys. It's almost as if there's different comic series. Wow, guys. It's almost like they have one character that they'll do 30 different series for where situations are different. Oh my god, someone write that down. That's a good idea. I mean, that's comics. You might have a comic where Bruce Wayne is dead and, I don't know, his dad is Batman. You might have a comic where Bruce Wayne never became Batman and he became evil. I mean, wow, that's a good idea. Wow, it's almost like you could pick up a comic and read multiple different types of stories about one character. It says each movie's its own sort of thing, and I think that works in the comic book world, and I think that works in the DC film world as well. It's not like Marvel where everything is more obviously linked in a more linear way. It feels like there's so many adjacent stories, worlds, and films happening at the same time, just like there are in the comics. She continued, so yeah, I didn't know that, but it doesn't necessarily change what other people are able to do with this universe. I don't think so. What one director decides, I don't think dictates what another director might be able to pick up and do with the world and the characters, which is fun. I think that's an appealing aspect for directors in the DC world. They can make it their own, the way that James did. He didn't have to be beholden to the versions that David Ayer set up. He could pick it up and make his own, which I'm sure was more appealing to him, she concluded. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, guys. It doesn't really sound like Margot Robbie cares. I'm gonna take a guess. I'm gonna take a gander that Harley Quinn's gonna die in the Suicide Squad movie. I have that feeling. Because she has no other contracts right now. She's not planning to come back anytime soon. And clearly we know with James Gunn, the Suicide Squad, they're doing a ton of different spin-offs. They're doing the Peacemaker series. They're also doing another series from one of the characters I don't remember. But they are doing a couple of different like spin-off series as far as we know. So it seems like maybe she just wanted to take a break from being Harley Quinn. And Warner Brothers didn't tell her if they have a plan or a roadmap for DC films because they just haven't really signed her for anything else. I mean, it's true. Why would you tell an actor that's not going to work with you what the plans are for the future? I mean, that kind of seems like common sense. I don't know, though. It's not surprising if Warner Brothers didn't have a roadmap for DC comic films because they've never had a roadmap that the scale of like Marvel ever did. Marvel has scales going years and years and years out, and we've known about a ton of their projects for a long time out. And it just kind of seems like maybe Warner Brothers doesn't have a roadmap, but does that necessarily hurt them? No, but Margot Robbie is done with playing Harley Quinn for now. Maybe she'll be back in the future. Right now it doesn't sound like she's got any plans to come back, but it is what it is. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not really gonna miss her that much. I think that Margot Robbie's a good actress, but I don't think she ever, like, did a fantastic hands-down performance of Harley Quinn, and which I don't blame necessarily only her for. I also blame the writing and the direction they went in for the stories, but that's all that I really had to discuss with that topic, and in a minute we'll move into the Blizzard news, the Blizzard rumors. Lots and lots and lots of rumors going on here. Blizzard. What a amazing, great company. I know that everyone, you love Blizzard. You guys don't have to remind me. Blizzard is one of like your favorite companies. I know it. You don't have to lie to me. Everyone's got a company that they like. It's like how Amber Heard is everyone's favorite actress. You guys can't lie to me. I know that Amber Heard is just your freaking kryptonite, okay? Yeah, she just wanted to sign in for a superhero franchise character like everyone else. She probably doesn't care about comics. I don't think that she has to, or an actor who's working for a company like DC has to read every single comic about their character that they're playing, but I feel like you should probably have some general knowledge on what comic books are and who your character is. I feel like that's not that ridiculous to ask, but apparently it's 2021, and why would actors know what, you know, who the character they're playing is? It's whatever. It's the way the cookie crumbles. I don't care about the DCEU or the MCU. I mean, I completely get that. It's... a lot of people, I feel like, are starting to get kind of worn out with superhero films in general, so it's not very surprising to hear more and more people are just kind of ready for a little bit of a break. Blizzard news, they still don't know how to balance their games. Poor StarCraft. Poor StarCraft. Guys, listen. I'm a Protoss. I don't want to talk about it. She isn't much younger than Scarlett Johansson. If she presses pause on playing Harley Quinn, she'll age out of the hot blonde bombshell template, then her Hollywood career will be over. I actually disagree. I feel like Margot Robbie has a lot that she could offer being a mid-aged actress. I think that she would be in the same boat as like a Natalie Portman. Like, it's time to move on to the next phase of my life. I'm a grown-up, matured woman now, and I respect my body, the feminine figure, and also just who I am. Like, oh my gosh, I'm always meant to be this person. Like, I feel like they could play slightly older, like 40s, 50s characters and do a great job. They just, couldn't play the hot blonde bombshells anymore. But alright, you guys. Let's get this started. Let's move into the next topic of the evening. Now, Blizzard. Okay, guys. I always seem to be talking about Sony, Blizzard, and how they're fucking things up. How they're always upsetting people, and how they're always doing something to make themselves look even more garbage than they already are. Now, please take this all with a grain of salt, because we are going to be reading a little bit of this that was put online. It says, insider leak on the current happenings inside of Blizzard. Will be interesting to see if this turns out to be true. This is a rumor. None of this is confirmed, so please take it with a grain of salt. It was posted on the internet, and as a lot of you guys know, the internet can be a place filled with lies. So try to take that into consideration when we read through this, but at the same time, a lot of what is in this is true. A lot of it are things that we've heard for years, rumors we've heard for years, just some general opinions that we do know, like the fact that Blizzard hates streamers who give their games free publicity, and we know that because they've literally publicly came out and spoken against streamers like Asmongold. So, it says Shadowlands, first of all, is a shit show. Critical response, player drop-off, and just about every engagement metric outside of the cash shop have been catastrophic. No higher-up expected this because of their "we're too big to fail, we built it on they will come" mentality. They refuse to accept their focus on the world being begrudged mechanic to funnel players to rating is not appealing to the player base at large because it appeals to them. They have spent the last 4 months trying to course correct, but there is no solid direction, and the response to 9.1 has only made things worse. Shadowlands started off really, really strong. There was a ton of interest in Shadowlands. A lot of people were really excited for it. And I feel like everyone found out that it was just going to be Sylvanas, strong woman, she's killing men, she's kicking ass. And then I feel like that interest kind of went, like it just kind of plummeted. Shadowlands, as far as I know, has been pretty successful. I do not really play WoW anymore. There was a time where I was really into WoW, and I did get Invincible first try, and I will never forget that, but I feel like with Shadowlands, there was a ton of interest, and then it just kind of came out, and everyone went, oh, it's just another World of Warcraft expansion. It says, Sylvanas is planned to replace the Arbiter despite so many people in the company and God knows how many online saying this would be a total replication of Kerrigan's storyline in StarCraft 2 that killed all competitive interest in the brand entirely, and you can only go, no, they will like it eventually for so many real-world years before it's time to change course. This would actually be a big disappointment. For a lot of people, I think. Again, I haven't been keeping up to date with World of Warcraft and the story, but I do know the reception to Sylvanas kind of killing everyone and becoming the strong, independent woman she is. I know that a lot of people were really disappointed by that, and if they basically just replicated StarCraft 2 storyline, I don't think that it would be something that would go over that well. It says, the elephant in the room is Final Fantasy XIV. To the people in charge, they are acting like this came out of nowhere and don't even seem to understand why it's drawing players away in their tens of thousands. We have all tried to highlight things it is doing that are clearly appealing to an MMO audience and not, in my opinion, focusing more on mobile game style retention traps to keep MAU users, and habits forming personalities logging on. It's not that they don't care, they just seem to be so pig-headed and digging their heels with their fingers in their ears, thinking all the problems will go away because WoW is too big to fail. This is never true. Your game could be giant, it could be massive, your game can still fail no matter how much interest there is initially, no matter how much money you have in it, a game can still fail. And we do know that a lot of AAA developers feel cocky and they say, I'm too big to fail. That you can fail. And if you're a company, I think that it's time they start realizing that they can fail, because it's 2021 and we've seen shit happen like No Man's Sky and Fallout 76. Everyone would have said Bethesda can't fail, and they did. Scrolling down, it talks about WoW and the models that WoW are going through. It says the new model for WoW is market the hell out of an expansion pack for a huge quarter, then use 6-month lock-ins to pad numbers for the quarters after that. Even if Corona had not happened, 9.1 still would have been dropping after the initial 6 months expire to keep the chain holding. I mean, this isn't that surprising, just because we are talking about a game that does run off of subscriptions. Yeah, they do have a cash shop, and yeah, a lot of people spend money in the cash shop, but at the same time, when your plan is to get people to pay $15 a month for a subscription, you expect people to buy 6-month lock-ins, you expect to add items to it and make money that way. It's just how business goes. Do I fault them for trying to get people, you know, to lock in subscriptions and trying to get people to find ways to spend money? No, they're a company, but at the same time, you also don't want a company to be completely horse shit. Scrolling down, it says 2021 has seen the player base, media, and gaming at large turn on WoW to a degree I don't think the leads in their positivity dojo bubble considered possible. It's gone from people going, this is how Blizzard needs to fix WoW, to WoW is no longer salvageable, time for greener pastures, and I think on some level this was never considered a possibility, as there has never been any major plans beyond the usual try and minimize player drop-off by arranging releases around competitors launching updates and products. Again, companies can fail, games can fail. WoW has been a game and a leader in the industry for so many years, but at the same time, that also kind of hurts it. Because while yes, World of Warcraft has been a dominating factor in MMOs for years and years and years, people can still get bored of it. And yeah, there are people always coming to the game that are new to it, that are interested in what content you're releasing. Eventually people are going to get bored and sick and tired of your title. And eventually you are going to lose more players than you're gaining, and eventually you're not going to be able to keep those servers up anymore. It says, there has been some testing the waters lately from certain higher-ups. If we can remove the line of no king rules forever, read into what you will think. And then it actually talks about a situation that I've mentioned a couple of times in videos. There are still arguments going on about the Kael'thas voice actor shit show. I don't know much about it, but I know it's heated, and it wouldn't be the first time a knee-jerk reaction only seemed to generate bad press. I did talk about this in several videos. I have talked to the voice actor myself. He's a great guy. From what I understand of the situation, Blizzard basically just knee-jerk reaction. Blizzard didn't want to deal with bad press. Blizzard is always in controversies, so it's like they're more worried about not getting into controversies because they're already in so many that they knee-jerk reactions, do stuff like this, they fire people, and then they go, oh, well, we didn't really outweigh the pros and the cons, we probably shouldn't have done that. They're just so worried about more bad press because they already have 15 different controversies going on with them. They didn't want to add another, so they did something, and they didn't realize how much it was going to hurt them. That was a super unfortunate situation. It's a really shitty situation, and I do know that behind the scenes it has been kind of a shit show. For a lot of people, we've heard a lot of rumors about it, we've heard a lot of information about it, and this, I mean, as far as I'm aware, is very true because we have heard about this from several different sources. But it says, if we scroll down, on the topic of Twitter, we are now being told to disengage from it. Multiple employees publicly attacking paying customers because they got too heated and couldn't keep quiet is bad press that could have been avoided. An email reminder has gone around more than once lately saying if you are not customer relations, you should not be representing the company to customers, especially if you cannot remain professional. And we know that this is true because Asmongold, just like 2 weeks ago, literally talked multiple times about how a Blizzard employee went on Twitter and started fucking attacking him, calling him a piece of shit and all this stuff. And now, look at what he's doing. As far as I'm aware, he's been trying other games. He hasn't really been streaming World of Warcraft that much. He's basically given them the finger back, and that's what happens. When you're a company and your employees are shitting on consumers that are literally giving you free press, I think it's hilarious when they turn around and give you the middle finger. I don't watch Asmongold really or anything, but I do know that he's big into MMOs. I think that he's been trying, like, Ashes of Creation, and maybe he's been playing Final Fantasy. I'm assuming that because, you know, Final Fantasy's had an uptick in interest lately, that he's been playing Final Fantasy. But literally, they have employees attacking someone that's getting them 100,000 viewers on a stream. You can't do that. If you want your game to survive, even consider a quarter of those people that watch him ditching your game because you had one single employee make a rude ass remark about this streamer. Imagine 25,000 people just unsubbing from WoW. I mean, they get what they deserve. They have employees that they can't control. It's not that surprising that that would happen, but that's all that I really had to talk about with this. This insider apparently is saying Blizzard is in shambles right now. Would it be surprising? No. A lot of this does come from truth. A lot of these are rumors that we've heard, and even some facts, like with the Asmongold stuff, we know that it's true. We know that people at the company hate him. They've said on social media, basically, screw him to his face, talk shit about him online. We know a lot of this is true, and maybe not all of it is true. It's always hard to believe when it comes to rumors and leaks, but I definitely think a lot here sounds believable and legitimate, but that's all that I really had to discuss with that, and in a minute we will move on to the final topic of the evening, which is going to be Black Widow. Scarlett Johansson, everyone's second favorite actress, only second to Amber Heard, because everyone loves her. But, yeah. I mean, yeah, Rod, it's been, what, 15 years of WoW? Players were inevitably going to get bored and move on. I mean, it's true. You could have a game that survives 30 years. Of course you could. I mean, World of Warcraft's been going on, like, 15 years at least now. There is a lot of interest in it, and that's great for Blizzard, whatever. But it's inevitable that people are gonna eventually get bored of it. And that's why you have to keep creating new content, you know, trying to bring some of those old players back, getting new players interested in the game. For me personally, why would I want to play a game where you've got employees literally going on social media shitting on people who are literally giving their game free press? As a content creator, I would never want to stream a game where employees of that game are going online shitting on content creators. I'm not going to give you hours of my free press, no matter what size my audience is, just for you to go around, you know, making fun of creators. That's garbage. Can I get a link to that article, the Blizzard one? Yes. It's not technically an article. It's like an image of stuff that was posted online before it was removed, but I will put it in the chat for you guys. Again, take it with a grain of salt. Might be real, might not be real, but a lot of it does seem very believable. So, yeah. Guys, oh, don't say that! The MMORPG fad has been over for a while. I love MMOs. I still play SWOTOR. I play Black Desert Online from time to time. I am going to be trying New World. Also, guys, next week, New World release. Well, next week, New World's last beta releases on the 20th. So I will probably stream it once or twice. And then at the end of August, New World officially launches. It's Amazon's MMO. So next week, I'll probably stream it once or twice. And then when it fully launches at the end of August, I will be streaming it quite a bit. But MMOs will never die. And don't talk about MMOs dying, because they're great. Even though they take a lot of time, for me, I mean, I'm usually always playing at least one MMO in some capacity, even if it's only like testing one. Yeah, MMOs are great. It's rough. I would gladly give up FPSs for an MMO. I'm sorry. Apex, Call of Duty. I love those games, but I would rather have an MMO. Star Wars The Old Republic is good. It's always good. Been good, will be good. Too bad it's EA and fucking BioWare. Well, I mean, BioWare used to be good, but BioWare's not good anymore. Also, guys, really quickly, did you all see the Super Mario 64 copy that sold for $1.5 million? That was graded? Guys, I've been going through my sealed game collection. It's almost time to sell out. Sealed games are skyrocketing. I put it behind me. You guys probably can't see it, but I have a sealed Paper Mario for N64 behind me. You guys probably can't see it. It's like $3,000, I guess. I was looking online. I was like, oh, sitting in a box in a corner in a room. Yeah, Amazon. Well, you know, beggars can't be choosers. I'll try it a little bit. I don't plan to play New World in like a constant... I don't plan to constantly play New World, but I do want to try it. Yep. Super Mario 64, $1.5 million. It was like a 9.8 graded, so, I mean, it makes sense, but... It's bullshit. They were talking on the auction about it having like 3 screws instead of 5 screws on the cartridge. It's all bullshit, and it's hilarious. Some dumb motherfucker bought a 1.5 million game cartridge that's not special. Yeah, I agree, Rod. I trade all FPS games for KOTOR 3 or Mass Effect 4. Well, so SWOTOR, the MMO, is kind of KOTOR 3 because it has Revan expansions. You've got like the Jedi Knight storyline, which is actually was based on Knights of the Old Republic, but it's clearly not like a Knights of the Old Republic 3, like a complete Knights of the Old Republic 3, but it's got a lot of similarities. guys. Let me just check through my collection to see if I've got Super Mario 64 sealed with magically 3 screws instead of 5 or something like that. What BS. Hush, you're exposing the scam. I'm gonna keep exposing the scam until someone gives me that amount of money. If anyone wants to just PayPal it, thanks. Otherwise, it's a scam. 3 screw, not 5 screw, don't exist. Not true. Lie, lie, lie. Blah, blah, blah. PayPal's in the description, Elon Musk. I'll split it with you guys. I'll split the hush money with you guys. There's only 70 of you here. Well, I mean, that's a lot of people. But we could do it. Thank you for the $11 donation.
RPGs to my issue is when people prioritize those over their real responsibilities.
It's true. I mean, that could happen with any game, though. Like, that's not just an MMO problem. That's an any game problem. That's just an addiction problem. You can have an addiction with everything. MMOs, FPSs, whatever the case may be. But... yeah. Screw you. Ahaha. So funny. Alright, you guys. So, let's move into the final topic of the night. I've talked about Black Widow over the weekend. I'm not going to give any spoilers. Spoiler alert, though, just in case something slips. Black Widow, in my opinion, was a pretty bad movie. I did not go to the movie theater to see it. I watched it online. And I just didn't really like Black Widow. I feel like it was many years too late. I don't really care about the story, the characters. Guys, can I also just fucking rant about, you know, Yelena? Okay, the blonde sister. These characters, right, are supposed to be Russian, okay? Miss Natasha's supposed to be Russian. Her dad's supposed to be Russian. Every character in this fucking movie is supposed to be Russian. And they literally pronounce her name Yelena. Her name's supposed to be pronounced Ilyana. That's how fucking Russians would say it. Yeah, we're talking about a movie about Russians. They can't even pronounce her name right. Anyway. Look at me with my accuracy over here. It was so stupid. Characters that can't even pronounce a character's name right. It's fine. Black Widow was a very mediocre movie. I personally did not like it. If you liked it, good for you. Sir Dan, the second option. Black Widow just was not a great movie. And it launched, and it's had its success. We're talking about Marvel. Whenever we talk about numbers, in this case, we have to always consider we are talking about Marvel. We are talking about a company that will make money no matter what they do. They could put out a documentary about the very ends of Scarlett Johansson's hair, and they could make $1 million easy off of it. I mean, they can make a movie about basically anything and people will be interested. They will make money. They will at least make a couple ticket sales. But Black Widow is underperforming at the box office with a gigantic drop. So it says, as expected, Marvel's Black Widow movie has underperformed at the box office, which saw the flick suffer a huge drop during the weekend. Now, they actually tried to do something very sketchy. I don't know if I'd call it sketchy, just very sneaky. So, with numbers that have been released for money that they've made off of Black Widow over the weekend, they've tried to cram in the box office and also Disney Plus numbers together. They've tried to mix them both together to make it seem like a giant amount of money, like we made $180 million. But I personally think that it's pretty important to point out there is a difference between how much money they made on Disney Plus versus how much they made in theaters. But it says industry estimates pegged Black Widow to open at least $90 million this weekend for the box office, but it is being reported that the film only brought in $80 million. Now, no matter how you cut the cake here, Marvel is still making a shit ton of money. They're still making their money back. They're still making plenty on this film, but the estimates are actually lower than what everyone expected them to be, what, industry veterans expected it to be. 10 million less. It says, however, what is more alarming is that reports offer Black Widow suffered a whopping 40 freaking 1% drop from Friday to Saturday, which in my opinion suggests word of mouth got out that the flick isn't very good. And it says, for a comparison, Captain Marvel suffered only a 14% drop. Now, no matter what film we're talking about, no matter how giant the launch is, ultimately every single film is going to have a drop off. Whether it's a day later, a week later, a month later, a year later, films are always going to have drop off because most people see a movie once or twice and then they won't go see it again. So it's inevitable that there's always going to be that decline. But talking about opening weekend, from Friday into Saturday, a 41% drop is absolutely massive, especially when you've got numbers like Captain Marvel only suffered a 14% drop. This is one of the largest drop-offs of a Marvel film ever. And again, we do have to take into consideration that some places still do have a lot of COVID guidelines in place and lockdown. I don't know how many places still have lockdowns. We'll give this film a tiny bit of an excuse as it is releasing at we'll call it the end of the pandemic. There are still people who don't want to go out and see it, but clearly, day one, there was a shit ton of interest. There was a lot of interest still. But suddenly, there's this giant, massive 41% drop-off only a day later. That's a big drop. It says it dropped way more than usual for a Marvel title. In Deadline's various reports over the weekend, including their latest article about AMC's stock flopping, it says it's noted that Black Widow opened domestically at $80 million, but the gross dropped on Saturday from Thursday to Friday way more than usual for a Marvel title. It says now the excuses are flying and as Deadline continues and questions if the underperformance of Black Widow at the box office is due to the, simultaneous release on Disney+, which costs subscribers an extra $29.99 to view the movie. I do think that there are, of course, a ton of people who are still going to watch it at home, even though a lot of movie theaters are opened back up. A lot of people can go and see, and clearly there were a lot of people going to see it in the theaters. I do think that people, if they're going to watch it a second time, will probably just rent it on Disney Plus and watch it. I do think that is a legitimate way that people will watch it instead of going to a theater. But it says, from my vantage point, Black Widow tanking on Saturday has nothing to do with Disney Plus. It's just that fans didn't want to go see the movie as they probably had something else that was better to do. I don't know if I necessarily agree with this because I think that Marvel definitely does have a ton of fanboys. Scarlett Johansson has a ton of fans. And I do think that this movie had quite a bit of interest in it. I think it's a combination of things. I think a lot of people saying that they didn't really love the movie. I think a lot of it behind it, though, truly, genuinely is that we know that this character is irrelevant now. We know that Natasha is gone. We know that this story isn't set in the current timeline of the MCU. If this was a current timeline movie, then yeah, I think everyone would be super interested in it, even more than they already were. We're talking about a movie that takes place, years ago. So we already know that whatever the consequences of this movie, besides maybe introducing a character or two, the main star of the film is already gone. Like, we're not going to see that character, at least for right now, that we know of. It also says, I do know that 2 of my normie friends who went to see it, none of my geek friends saw it thus far, as my personal social media channels were silent in regards to anything about Black Widow over the weekend. And it says it's quite possible that Black Widow is an excellent movie, as it does have a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes, but the critic score is only at 81%, and again, according to Deadline, Black Widow audience reactions are an A cinema score, while the typical Marvel movie gets a solid A. Oh, A-, excuse me. It's further noted that while the audience exists for Black Widow are very good, the site says, but for a Marvel movie, they aren't platinum. I just feel like it didn't have a lot of the Marvel magic, and I think that that's really what's been lacking in a lot of Marvel films lately. Yeah, they're good, they're okay, they're decent, But we're not talking about something that's like next level, amazing, unique. It was just like a spy movie with like a little bit of the Marvel touch. Just wasn't enough in my opinion. But clearly you can see the Black Widow still has a ton of interest behind it. There are a lot of people who have gone to see it. It's still making money, but it says I'll also add the second Scarlett Johansson started to promote Black Widow as a feminist Me Too flick, much like Captain Marvel. I was immediately turned off. I also think that the marketing for this film didn't do it a lot of justice. I think that the whole Me Too, female power, yeah, while the movie might touch on like female power a little bit, I think going as far as saying it's a Me Too movie and it's gonna reference Me Too heavily, I think that that does turn a lot of people off, because we see on social media people that are affiliated with the project basically saying this isn't a movie for men, and I think that that really does hurt the amount of people that are gonna go see it multiple times, purchase it, what have you. So that's all that I really had to discuss with Black Widow. Currently, it is not doing awful, but it also is currently underperforming at the box office, and there's a 40% drop off from Friday to Saturday, even though a movie like Captain Marvel only suffered a 14% drop. That is all that I really had to discuss tonight, you guys. I will be hanging around for a little bit longer, so if you guys have any questions or topics you want to ask, please feel free to put them into the chat now. I'd be happy to answer whatever you guys have to ask. But we talked about Blizzard, Black Widow, we talked about Hollywood, and also the future of DC comic films. Black Widow just wasn't a good film, in my opinion. If you liked it, good for you. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. But for me, I didn't think that it was good. I feel like a lot of people really weren't impressed with it. And I just think that when you tell people, hey, you have a specific gender, and because you're a male, you shouldn't see this film because it's a Me Too movement movie for females, I think that, yeah, your sales are gonna hurt a little bit. And I do think that that also unfortunately hurt this movie. I mean, I don't want movies to come out and fail, but at the same time, I just want movies to come out and have them be good. I don't think it's that much to ask. Was there an end credits? You mean an end credit, like post-credit scene for Black Widow? There was, and it was actually very important. Do you still play Magic the Gathering? A lot of your early videos were about MTG. Yeah, I started as a Magic the Gathering channel. I do still play Magic the Gathering. I do, yes. Unfortunately, the game isn't in the best place right now, just because of Wizards of the Coast being an insufferably woke bullshit company now, but I do still play it from time to time. I still have my collection. Very looking forward to new Doctor Strange possibly being a horror type movie. Yes. I really, really, really like the first Doctor Strange film. I know with them gender swapping the Ancient One, there was controversy with that. I feel like Tilda Swinton, or is it Sweden? How do you say her last name? I know that the actress that they chose actually did a very, in my opinion, good job with it. I feel like that was one of the instances where a gender swap actually worked, because the story wasn't like, oh my gosh, I'm a woman, so I'm more powerful than you, and oh my gosh, I'm the Ancient One because I'm a woman. Like, it actually was very good, in my opinion. I really like the first Doctor Strange movie, and I am pretty excited for the second one. And if they do go in the horror direction, which we've heard that they are, that for me is a really big draw-in, because I think that sounds like a cool direction for it. And we also, Swinton, that's her name, thank you. We also know, spoiler alert, if you don't want any sort of spoilers about the MCU or Doctor Strange, click off now. We do know that Wanda is a big part of Doctor Strange. We do know that Elizabeth Olsen is cast in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, and apparently she's going to be kind of the villain in it. And we know that because the description for Multiverse of Madness is literally Doctor Strange has to fight a friend turned foe And Elizabeth Olsen is cast as the second lead character, and she's literally said Wanda's got a lot to do with the movie. So yeah, Tilda Swinton, that's it. They did, in my opinion, that was one of the gender swaps that actually really did work, because it wasn't thrown in your face. It wasn't, oh my god, just because I'm a female, I'm more powerful than you. You'll never be as good as me. I actually thought that they did a pretty good job with that film. Too bad they got rid of the first director. Yeah, I don't know. I like to give directors multiple chances. I like to see... I personally don't mind seeing, like, a franchise with multiple different directors like the MCU usually does. But... I don't know, I feel like the first director, I don't remember who directed the first Doctor Strange. I felt like they did a good job. So, I should rephrase, Wanda probably isn't the main villain, but we do know that she is going to be, a villain / evil entity in the film. There probably is going to be another, like, villain that they throw in, but we do know that she is going to be an evil entity in the film. And Elizabeth Olsen has even said it, that she's... you know, not friendly with Doctor Strange anymore. And, I mean, with the way that WandaVision ended, it's not hard to see why. I like Benedict Cumberbatch. He's great. He is my Smaug. He forever will be my Smaug. That could be true, Chris. They could dumb down Doctor Strange to not be more powerful than Wanda. We don't know yet. They probably, unfortunately, will. I'm hopeful for it. Like I always say, you guys, I'm always very hopeful for new films. Hopeful that a company can change. They usually don't. But I try not to go into things instantly saying, oh, I'm going to hate it because X, Y, and Z, because I think it's going to be one way or I think it's going to be another way. I usually try to give things a chance. We'll see as the, you know, I was going to say as the story progresses. Yeah, I mean, I guess as the project progresses. I guess it's not like Marvel directors to have much control. Anyway, some come out and have said as much. I mean, it is true. It is true. They basically have their name slapped on something and they do have to make creative decisions, but it's like most of them don't have full control because it's Marvel. You know, they want to have their movies be a specific way and push specific narratives, and if you're a director that signs on for a Marvel movie, you just have to deal with that. I mean, look at Captain Marvel 2. Well, it's called The Marvels now or whatever. That's why they picked a basically unknown director, because they know that they can tell them, hey, do something, and they're gonna go, yes, of course, company, of course, giant corporation, I'm so grateful to have this opportunity. But you guys, I am going to end the live stream here. Thank you all so much for stopping by tonight. I do really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the live stream, please make sure to give it a like. If you didn't, give it a dislike. Check out the links in the description. Follow me on social media, Twitter, mine's, consider joining our Discord. We're very active there. I do tag you all when I go live in case YouTube doesn't notify you of live streams. Please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon for just $1 a month. I do not know exactly when I am going to be streaming again, but I will let you guys know. It will be probably closer to the end of the week. I will not be streaming tomorrow, but I will update you all in Discord, Twitter, community tab as well on YouTube. Check that as well. I have been posting more on it, but I think we had a pretty successful night filled with topics. Pretty good night, at least in my opinion. Guys, Black Widow, bad movie. Blizzard, bad company. DCEU, Warner Brothers, bad. Hollywood, bad. I mean, lots of bad tonight. Just gonna be honest. But, alright, you guys. Thank you for stopping by and have a fantastic evening, everyone.